Hello, Michelle. How are you doing today?
Hi, Lindsay. I'm good. Happy 2023.
I know it's just amazing. Oh my God, are you excited about this new year?
I am. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for a new year.
Yeah, we've had an intense couple of years 2020, 2021, 2022, very intense years. Now we're ready to have hopefully a lighter year.
Knock on wood, knock on wood. Yes, I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Do you enjoy this time of year when you have a chance to kind of set new goals and just, really get yourself on the right track? It's a clean slate.
I do like it. I have to be honest, I think it's a little intimidating for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge one on like the big resolutions because I mean, I do think it puts a lot of pressure and also like you can set a resolution at any time of the year. However, like I do think it's good to kind of feel that freshness and to kind of get in the right mindset of the new year. But I also don't like to be like, well, these are like, this is what has to happen this
Oh my
year all
gosh,
the
no.
time. It's just like a little too much, like, especially for professionally, it's one thing, but for personal life, I
Yeah.
think it can be a little bit intimidating and,
Mhm.
but good to think about. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime we have a chance to change our habits, it's
Yeah.
exciting. Like I
Yeah.
just came back from my trip to Argentina that I shared with our listeners that we were going. It
Yes.
was amazing and I came back and now I'm like, wow, I could change the way I do things, right? I could change my workflow. I could make changes and to be more efficient, especially at work or even in life, right? It's an opportunity. So it's
Yeah.
not pressure in my mind. It's more like if I want to make this change, I could. Usually I kind of just fall back into my old habits, to be honest.
I think that's very common. But
Uh-huh.
no, I agree with you. I do think it's nice and I do like to like set new goals and
Yeah,
things like that. Again, I think personal versus professional is a little bit of a different feel for me. The personal is a little like yeah, I can do it anytime and I want to have that feeling like I can make changes anytime as
for
in
sure.
work as well, but I think
Hmm.
sometimes the personal, like the typical, resolutions like stop doing this, like stop this habit, it's nice to think about, but sometimes I feel like it can be a little much sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. So, for our listeners, guys, listen up. If you are the kind of person that needs to build momentum, if you're going to make a
Yes,
change, if you're going to
that it
ramp
helps with.
up your English this year, we have an opportunity to join our challenge, our 5 day challenge. We're calling it the New Me in 2023 5 day challenge. You like that title, Michelle?
I love it. And, I just realized that I was saying don't put too much pressure on yourself. However, like I said, however, to be honest, when it comes to learning something new, I especially think that this is like a new time. I guess what I
Yes.
was talking about more of the things like stop biting my nails. How people say
The
like
typical
lose
things.
weight. Like
Yeah,
those kinds of things I feel like
right.
are just kind of like the things that people say every year. However, when it comes to a new skill, to
Yes.
refining yourself, I think that has a different feeling because it's less about stopping something and
That's
more
it.
about starting. And
That's what I
that's
was just going to
exciting.
say. That's what I was just noticing in the examples you use, right?
Yeah.
Stop smoking. I don't smoke and you don't smoke, but some people do, right? Stop smoking. Stop biting nails. Stop eating too much. These are all kind of self
Restrictive.
discipline restrictive
Restrictions.
things, right? Exactly. But what I love is the idea of the endowed progress effect. So if
Yeah.
I see that I've made progress towards my goal every day, that's incredibly motivating for the human mind.
Yes. So I think that like having that start mindset,
Yes.
that's where you're going to get motivated and inspired rather than the stop doing this. I've done this wrong. I'm beating myself up about
Right.
this.
Right.
Two different kinds of goals for the new year.
Exactly, exactly. So, guys, this offer is going on right now, but just right now, right? It's not going to be available forever. It doesn't make sense forever. It's available until January 7th. Michelle, what is the link where they can go to get this before we get into the quotes for today?
Okay, so the link is allearsenglish.com/new 2023. So 2023.
Yeah, so go there and I'll explain a little. We'll explain, Michelle and I will explain a little bit more what exactly it is later in the episode. But I want to start off today with some exciting and fulfilling quotes just to talk
Yes.
about them and see what they mean to us at this time of year. Michelle, what's the first quote?
Well, I love this one. The secret of getting ahead is
Yes.
getting started. And that's by
And
Mark Twain.
yeah, and this is exactly what we're saying, right? This is exactly what we're saying. This is not about stopping doing something. It's about what do you do with your first week of 2023? And how can you get ahead more in your mind? It's a mind game, Michelle.
Right. You want to propel yourself forward. So the feeling of this is, just if you don't get started, you can't get ahead. Sometimes I think we get like, or I mean, for myself, I'm sure for a lot of people, you kind of get like, you can kind of get frozen,
Yeah,
right?
frozen. Yes,
And
yes.
this just to have this new year, it's this opportunity to be like, no, I'm like whatever it was, it's time to get started, time to get excited instead of being frozen in place.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is when we know we want to do something, we think we have to do it all that same day.
Yes.
So, for example, if I know that I want to kick back up my Spanish because I was actually excited about how I felt so comfortable in Argentine Spanish, Michelle. Oh, it is so hard
Yeah.
to understand. They speak so fast. They use a totally different accent.
Oh yeah.
But my listening was actually the strongest I've seen in all of our
Great.
trips to Spanish speaking countries. Yeah, I was ready for it. I
Yeah.
had hired 4 or 5 different tutors on italki to practice this Argentine
Good for
Spanish
you.
leading into it. But now we've been back for a few weeks. Have I taken lessons? I was going to continue my lessons? No, I have not gone back to them.
Yeah.
So, what I'm trying to say here is the secret is just getting started. I could build that progress effect in my mind by just booking my next lesson. And
Right.
that would be all I would have to do today. And then tomorrow I just show up for the lesson and then I book it again. So it's one little step at a
Baby
time. It's
steps.
not doing the whole lesson that first day. Right, Michelle?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think, that's where it's easy to get into trouble is to have that mindset of
Yeah.
like,
You got to do it all.
I want to learn a new language. Let's do it all right this second. Like
Yeah,
that's, it's not really reasonable and you're going to
exactly.
get burnt out. Um,
Right.
so we want to have this, okay, we're getting the momentum. I love what you said is just setting the next appointment, doing that one intentional thing that will give you the next step. I think that's huge.
Exactly. Or have you ever had the experience where you have a blank canvas in front of you? Let's say you have to write a paper. What I do is I'll go and make an outline and just
Mm.
doing that. Or I have to do a project which involves a spreadsheet. It's complicated. I'll go and set up the columns and the
Yeah.
rows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I feel so much, I just feel good. I feel like I'm building the bones of the project. Right?
Right, right,
Hmm.
right. Or even just like making an appointment that you have to make. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes I can be like a little paranoid about my health and I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I have this or I have that." And my mom's like, "Well, then just call the doctor." Like even just sometimes like making the appointment makes you feel
Yes.
better. Like
Makes
it
you
just
feel
in another
better.
kind of way to think about it, another example.
I love it. So good. So guys, that's our first quote that we hope inspires you at the
Yes.
beginning of the year is the secret of getting ahead is just getting started. It's actually easier than we realize,
Yeah.
Michelle. I
Yeah.
love that. Now, do we have a second quote for our listeners today?
Yes, and this is by Theodore Roosevelt. So he was the president of the U.S. From 1901 to 1909, right, Lindsay?
Yeah, uh-huh. And he established a lot of our national parks. So that's amazing. The older I get, the more I appreciate the national parks, having gone to a lot of them and thinking it's really special to be able to enter a
Yeah.
park and pay some money and you know that this land is preserved and you can hike and you can explore. It's
Yeah.
incredible, Michelle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to do more of the national parks.
You really should. You really should. And there are a lot on the East Coast too, right? You
Yeah.
don't have to drive across the whole country. So what's the quote?
The quote is keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. Ooh.
Yes. What
So
does this strike you at? Like what do you think of when you hear this quote?
well, this feeling of, remaining stable. Now my headphone is falling out of my ear. Remaining stable, remaining grounded, but having a lot of ambition, right? So like
Yeah.
you have big dreams, but in order to do them, you have to actually do them rather than like thinking about them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes me think of the expression, this is a bonus for our listeners, down to earth, right?
Yes.
In your mind, is that a good thing or not a good thing to be down to earth?
To me, it's a very good thing. What do you think?
I think it's a good thing. Yeah, for sure. But you're right. In order to kind of build a successful life, we need both. We need to be grounded,
Yes.
as you said, and we need to kind of be reaching for the stars. So it's somewhere in between that we're going to hang out.
Right.
right?
Right. Because if you don't have those like your eyes like set on this big goal, then
Yeah.
you might not be motivated to do the actual work.
Yeah.
Vice versa, if you're wait, now I'm getting myself confused.
Well, yeah. Vice versa.
Or if
Mhm.
you like don't have wait, if you have okay, let's start over.
Yeah, no, well, actually, Michelle, I was just going to say, just to kind of like compliment, I think we know what you're trying to say, right? We have to be
Yes. Oh
somewhere
my
in the
gosh.
middle. We have to be
Yes.
somewhere in the middle. But last month, Aubrey and I did an episode on quiet quitting. This idea of that, Gen Z is doing a lot of kind of just doing the bare minimum and maybe stepping back
Mm-hmm.
from work and not investing quite as much. And we
Mm-hmm.
talked about how, in some ways, that's good because you're going to remain in touch with family, build your relationships, build your life outside of work. But in another way, it's going to leave a huge gap because
Yeah.
we need meaning in our lives as human beings.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that is that reaching part, right?
Thank
We
you.
need to be reaching for something.
Thank you, Lindsay. Yes, I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. My goodness, what happened to my mind?
Oh,
Anyway,
you're okay. We're just getting started here on the year, right? So, Michelle, tell our listeners a little bit more about this 5-day challenge. Let's talk about it.
okay, so guys, this is amazing. So, this is 5 days, and you're going to learn something new in English every day. So, that's what Lindsay was talking about, is like kind of this getting the ball rolling.
Yes, that's
Um,
another good expression for our listeners, by the way.
yeah, get that momentum going, the ball rolling, right? And it's one day at a time for 5 days. But every day, you're growing. So you can
Mhm.
see this actual improvement. And you're going to use all 4 skills in English, right, Lindsay?
Yeah, I love the idea. A lot of our listeners, you guys are always asking us, what about reading? What about writing?
Yeah.
There's more than just speaking, but you're going to get all 4 skills. This is going to help you to get that head start, right? Feel like you're making progress. You're taking that one simple action each day so that at the end of the
Right.
5 days, you're really going to be on a really different path. Okay. I love it. And how much time does it take each day to complete the challenge?
Really just 30 minutes or less, right,
Yes.
for each challenge.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you want to spend more time on these daily challenges and projects, you can. So it's really flexible, like whatever you can or want to put into it. So if you feel like you want to really go for it and do more, that's great. But don't think, oh, well, I don't know if I have the time. It's really just 30 minutes or less for 5 days.
Yeah, we've talked to you guys a lot, and we know that most of you really just have 30 minutes a day to work
Yeah,
on your
yeah.
English, right? And maybe you add on the podcast in the morning on your way to work. We've got 15 to 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
So we're going to help you maximize that time, Michelle. So good.
Absolutely. So, guys, you will learn something new. You're going to make a positive change in your life every day for 5 days. So, Lindsay, can you talk a little bit more about how they get in on this excitement?
Yes, of course, guys. You need to go straight to this link right now. Go to allearsenglish.com/NEW2023. Okay. So you go there and remember this offer ends January 7th. The price is going up, so you don't want to miss it. All right, guys. So that is your next action. As soon as you finish this episode, go there and join this challenge. Get in on this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm excited for you guys. I think it's the perfect way to get like, I think of like vroom, right? You're just like ramping up the engine.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be huge. Get yourself in the right mindset for the start of 2023 with your English.
I love it. So good. Michelle, thanks for hanging out on the podcast. As always, we have a blast together on the show. So we are lucky to be
Yeah.
here.
Absolutely. Love it, guys. And Happy New Year to everyone.
All right. Good stuff. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.